Hey you, it's true, and we are getting yet another roundtable night in Evertale. This time it is Percival who will bring 2 instant skills to the table and also a very high speed of 554. Let's dive right into the active skills of this light unit, although to be honest, it does look more like a dark unit to me. But never mind that, the first active skill is Blast Wave, gives 2 spirit, 100 time unit cost and attacks all enemies. The first time she uses it, it's pretty meh. I mean, it is 100% damage to all enemies. You could clear out some low HP ones, and it does still give 2 spirit for an attack all skill, which is okay, especially considering that it does ignore the counterstand status effect and skin passive skills. And she is healed for 100% of total damage dealt, which should be close to or actually a full heal. A full heal every second time for sure, because then she deals 250% damage and stuns each enemy for 100 time units if they are dealt damage. Now, this is a very powerful combo at that point. Yes, we do have some stun immune enemies, most notably the burn units, and she doesn't ignore stealth with this attack. So those units, if they have the stealth status effect up, should be safe from the damage and the stun. But generally speaking, this skill should jive nicely with her other skills, because she might get another turn straight away after the second time of using it and can then use one of her other powerful skills. One she will definitely use, according to the AI, is the Royal Blight Burst. This is actually her highest priority, and why not? It's an instant skill. It costs 0 spirit. It enrages her, so 50% additional damage on the next attack. And she grants herself either a stun ward or sleep ward at random, so this is very nice. It also heals all allies for 400% of the user's attack and weakens all enemies. So all these enemies will actually have their attack reduced by 25% until the end of the next turn. This will also override potential enrage effects on them. So yeah, nothing not to like about this skill, and it becomes locked for 100 time units after use. So if she uses a blast wave, for example, without time unit reductions, it should be ready for use exactly again when she gets the next turn after using one of her attack skills. One of her 100 time unit attack skills, of course, because there's also another instant skill coming. But first we have the Royal Void, 0 spirit cost and 100 time units. It targets one enemy. It's a vengeance skill, so if an enemy has defeated one or more units with attacks while on the battlefield, this attack will deal 500% damage, and the 500% damage will work on any target as soon as Percival gets 2 kills. Admittedly, that's not super easy to pull off. On the other hand, she does have these attack all skills, she enrages herself, and notably, the Royal Void does ignore counterstand status effects, skin passive skills, and will ignore any effects of non-boss enemies that would prevent the target from being defeated. So yet another passive ignoring attack right here. Because of the elemental advantage, this one might be dangerous to a Dark Cinderella that is out in the open. It is only an attack that targets one enemy after all, so it cannot hit beyond guards. And then we get another instant skill, which is a bit more complex because there is some elemental twists in it, and it is called, fittingly, the Elemental Eruption. It is time locked for 200 time units, so it is basically a survivor skill, but with reduced time units. I mean, in the current meta, 300 time units are already very, very long, so I wouldn't be surprised if we see future survivor skills actually only locked for 200 time units, like this one. And this is actually the only skill of Percival that actually costs spirit. It costs 2 spirit, but it is yet another instant skill, and it targets 2 enemies for 500% damage, heals Percival for 100% of max HP, and it ignores damage reduction effects. On top of that, depending on what element the enemies have that she damages, and, if they survive, fire and light units will be granted the forced sleep for 200 time units. Storm and earth units would get the mega poison for 200 time units, and water or dark units would get stunned for 200 time units. Now, after she first uses this skill, it unlocks again each time Percival damages an enemy with a different attack. So this has to be one of the 100 time unit skills that she has, because the other one is not an attack move. However, what that also means is that after 200 time units in battle, every time she gets the turn, depending on what her spirit looks like, she can pull off the Royal Blight Burst, which enrages her, gives her the wards, etc., heals her allies, weakens the enemies. Immediately afterwards, if she has 2 spirit, she can use the Elemental Eruption, so already dealing 1500% damage to 2 enemies in total. And afterwards, she might finish them off either with a Royal Void attack, which actually ignores the passives, or with a Blast Wave, which can potentially kill even more enemies, but it doesn't ignore passives, of course. So every 100 time units, she might pull off 3 active skills in quick succession after the Elemental Eruption is unlocked. Now, there could be situations where this is not super ideal, looking at the forced sleep on fire or light units, for example. If she uses Blast Wave afterwards, she will wake up these enemies immediately again, because, of course, she is not a Nightmare unit. Moving on to the passive skills, the first one being Forsaken Knight. The first part is quite nice until she has her first turn after entering the battlefield. She will be stun immune, and if she dies, all remaining allies on the battlefield will be healed for 800% of this unit's attack. So if she is sufficiently leveled, this should be a full heal for all your remaining units. Now, the second part is a bit odd, I think, but I guess it can work. We have a bit of a Armor Vengeance. Whenever another non-conjured ally on the battlefield is defeated, she gains 50% damage reduction from attacks for 150 time units, is healed to max HP, and becomes enraged. Now, this part is quite nice. And then all other allies gain the armor status effect and become enraged as well. Okay, now that I think about it, this is actually pretty good. I mean, armor status effects have been nerfed by all these raids and armor ignoring attacks. And of course, there was always, or is still lingering a little bit, the Light Cinderella's threat, who actually really likes to encounter these armored units. But I mean, enraging all your allies, giving them the armor status effect, which is a purify effect, so that is really the nice part about it. So yeah, actually, really nice. This part didn't impress me much on my first read-through and analysis, but now that I'm recording this, I can see the appeal now. On the other hand, you might still be wondering what is going on with her survivability. And there we have the second passive, Unyielding Warrior. She is immovable, and she cannot be defeated by damage from poison or burn status effect. This is really nice in combination with the hold ground that she has, because it will give her the chance to heal back up again and again. Poison or burn enemies will have to attack a second time to finish her off. And on top of all that, we have another attack action that she has, because if she defeats an enemy with an attack, and note that here we don't have the specification that it needs to be a non-conjured enemy, so any enemy will cause this effect to trigger. If the enemy is fire or light, 2 random enemies are forced to sleep. If they are storm or earth, 2 random enemies will get the mega poison status effect if they are not sleeping. And if Percival kills a water or dark unit, 2 random enemies are stunned for 200 time units. This is actually really powerful stuff. Quite possibly Percival is the best support yet, and support, I mean, quite broadly in her skill set, because yes, she has some heals, she enrages allies, she weakens enemies, but all this stuff that goes on with the elemental disruption, the stuff that happens when she kills somebody, the blast wave that stuns enemies, she can put enemies to sleep, she can put mega poison on random enemies, sleep them, stun them. Yeah, I mean, I think mentioned all of that already now. But yeah, she can really make battles very chaotic, I think. On the other hand, the big drawback I see is still to a degree her survivability. Yes, the hold ground in combination with the poison or burn status effects not killing her is really nice, but between her turns there are still 100 time units, at least, as soon as she did all the instant turns that she can pull off, and that's quite a long time. Plus, she can be a Dark Cinderella killer under certain circumstances, but do keep in mind that Dark Cinderella can also be a very nice Percival killer, especially with the demolition rate that can definitely one-shot Percival if Dark Cinderella is in Berserk form. She can probably be used decently in any build except Burn, and also possibly I don't quite like her in Sleep, I suppose, because she does wake up sleeping enemies, especially with a skill like the Blast Wave. But to other teams, she might already even give some nice value even at just one copy. All in all, I'm not fully convinced yet that she will be a must-have that goes to the top tier in my list. Let me know what you think in the comments below. And also, let's see her on the battlefield first. As usual, I will try to post some top-level arena footage as soon as possible on this channel. Thanks to Helios for the skill animation visuals used in this video. Small health update from my side. I just came back from the hospital because my surgery was moved back by a few days. I will try to use some of that time to create some more content and work a little bit on Evertrade. But in any case, thanks for your continuous support and all the encouraging comments. If you haven't already, don't forget to like and subscribe to become a true carrot. And as always, thanks for watching.